My name is Dr. Walker, Comfort Walker. I'm a native from Ghana myself, from Elmina. So I work with children with severe disabilities, children who are medical fragile. They come to me from the hospital, they sleep in the hospital, and they come to school for me to teach them. I also have children that are functioning just like Down syndrome or just have a learning disability. And when you see them physically, you see no disabilities, okay? So I'm very vast knowledge about anything regarding disabilities with students in the classroom, education. I'm not the doctor, I don't diagnose, right? I only work with what I see. Sometimes the kids come with diagnosis and sometimes you meet kids with no diagnosis. But as a teacher, you only work with what you see. And the skills that they present to you is the skills that you want to improve on or work with, okay? So I'm here to really listen to you. If you have anything that's bothering you or is not clear in relating to classroom setup or classroom situations, I will be very happy to answer it for you or give you some kind of insight, because this is just meet and greet. I have an office in Accra. It's called DAT, Disability Awareness Teacher Support. I'm going to leave you some flyers. What we do is support the teachers. I have a passion for teachers that work with disabilities. I don't work directly with students outside my organization. I work with the adults who take care of the students, all right? Because a lot of times people come and they support the children and they leave the teachers. And I feel like the teachers need more support, because when you are stable, the children are stable, right? When you are educated right, the children will get the right education. So that's what my organization stands for, to support the teachers, the parents, the caretakers, all right? So I'm going to sit down and let you ask me questions and I will answer.
Okay, so with our presence here, we are able to, we've been exposed to a lot of things, different types of disabilities. We are having to work with the children here. Personally, I have a challenge of using a communication book. So when you teach a child something, you have something called a communication book where you write what you teach the child. So when the child goes home, it tells the parents what the child learned that particular day.
Yeah.
So if the parents could like have a practical session with the child, learning the same thing, so that when the child comes back, he or she does not forget.
You have to say how you want him to identify the A to Z. Identify it by just looking at it, touching it, right? Or arranging it. So the letter alphabet or the numbers 1 to 10 is not just you telling the parent to teach them. You have to give them that extra support. If you have to write the number 1, cut it out. Number 2, cut it out, and tell the parent, this is number. Every evening, go over the numbers with him. Let him point to 1, 2, 3, whatever. You have to give the parent that instruction, because you're too generic, right? So, and you can't expect that parent to write the number for him to identify. You write the number, put in an envelope, and say this is his homework, to identify the numbers by pointing, by looking, by arranging it. So like a puzzle. That makes sense? Okay? So try not to make it so broad for parents. When you limit it to exact instruction and you provide them with the material, it's easier for them to follow. So try that, okay? Tell me about your day when you work with the children.
Whenever we come here, we take our breakfast and then we tidy up the environment. So for my class, what happened in the morning? We do identification of cats. We have cats that we match and identify. So, and after that, we do it for an hour. And then after that, we move to these basic things that we do, writing, coloring, and these basic mathematics and English. Yeah. And maybe to 12 noon, we have our lunch. And after that, we have a rest. Yeah. After resting, we come back to, we have a tablet that we normally play games. There is some tools, coloring, and all these kind of games that we can play. So we do play them till 3 o'clock in the park up and go. That's for Monday. Tuesday, another activity is there. Wednesday, we have a full program that is music therapy that we do for the whole day. Yeah. So on Thursday, we have this kind of sporting activities, and then we engage themselves in those kind of football, basketball, and the rest. Friday, we do clean up, and we have our games again with music. Yeah. So that's what we do. But when it comes to classroom, for me, actually, I was once in the classroom, the normal classroom, and I have a problem. That is a general problem for our Ghanaian institution as an education part, and how you can progress from a stage to a stage. When you are a person with disability, that you have some limitation in some aspects of the subjects. For Ghana, we have to do like 9 subjects. You write your BC before you go to WASI, and then you can progress. But some kids are there that have the limit that they can only do 1 or 2 subjects. But they are kind of intelligent and bright in those kind of 2 subjects that they can do. But because of the educational system, they are not able to progress to the next stage. So they can able to, maybe when they write the WASI or the PC, they can pass those 2 subjects, the rest of the 7 fail, and that means you can progress. And so for me particularly, that's the major problem that I face as a teacher. And we also have students here that can able to progress to the next step. But because of these things, you can't. Yeah. Example, Ima is there, he's very brilliant in math, that we can help him at least do it well. But the rest of the subjects, actually he can't do well, quite well. So helping him to write BC, to pass and progress to the next stage, to secondary school, and then maybe the university level, is a problem. It's a big problem.
Yeah.
So
I definitely feel you on that, because special education students are required to take the state test, but in the states they have modified tests for them, so it's easier. There's tests that you read to the student, they answer you by verbally, and you, the teacher, write it down and submit its test for them. So, but Ghana, I understand there's no such thing, but there's something you can do. Are you all familiar with assessments? Do you have assessment forms that you fill out for each child? Okay, in your assessment form, you should have subjects and where you have the strength and the weakness per subject with that child. Have you done that before? If you haven't, it's okay, because it's something that is very important as a special education teacher. That is your, like a Bible for you, the assessment. So there is a form that you have to have in which each student, and you have them by subject and by weakness and the strength. Now, when you're doing the weakness and strength, let's say math, right? There are students that can recite the numbers, but they don't identify it. So now, if a parent say, oh, my child can count to 100, but put 1 to 20 in front of them, they can't tell which one is which. So how now can you say my child doesn't know numbers? They know it by, like, in root head, because they can memorize 1, 2, but they don't visualize it. So now you have to bring the child back to identify the numbers, right? So now you say, okay, I bring them back. That's part of the assessment. Now, if the child cannot even say the numbers, but they can tell you which one is 1 and 2, 3, that's also okay in our assessment. Now, what do you do with that child that can say it but can identify it? You're going to have to now say, can they do addition? Okay, now they can add because you have not taught them the skills, but they know the numbers. So now you have to have the number with the manipulatives. Because so if you have the number 1, put 1 stone next to it. You have number 2, put 2 stones next to it. So that stone is manipulative. So because our children learn first visual, auditory, and the kinesthetic learners. You have heard that before, right? So when the kinesthetic, I teach my students all kinesthetic because you don't know which one will click. So I do visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. That means I have all manipulative on the table at all times. So when you do your assessment, that assessment will tell you where that child is in math. So you say he's good in math, you have to say what area is he strong in math. Is it the multiplication? Is it addition? Is it subtraction? If it's not, why is he having a hard time with that? It be because of the skill that he has not learned for the addition. So for me, when I do addition, I have the equal sign on the paper. I cut it. I have the plus sign. I cut it. I have the numbers. I don't do paper and pen. I do cut out for my students. Because some of our students have drooling problem, they don't know how to. I use tape, like clear tape, and tape it so it can become hard because you can lamination laminates the thing, but laminate is expensive. So I took the regular tape that you tape boxes and I put in front and back of my cutout, right? So now I'm doing addition. If I put 1 plus 1 on the board equals 2, I want them to take the 1, the plus, the 1, the equal sign, and what is the answer. And I receive that, right? If you have a student that can really form the numbers, that's great. Then you can give them a paper. But I assume that all of the students have to have paper and pen. Because you do that, you're going to stop some of them from learning. So do the manipulatives, cut out your letters, cut out the numbers, cut out the equal sign, the plus sign, the question mark. Because you're making simple sentences. What is your name? You can cut that. There's something words that are common in English language. I am a boy. My name is Peter. My name is, so cut is a lot of work on your part as a teacher, but you have to do these little things to get them to understand, because the way the brain is wired is not taught in one way. If you teach it in one way, you will never get to all the students, and you don't want that. And we don't have the time to just teach one student at a time. You have to have them all in your possession, right? So your manipulatives is important. You don't have to have blocks. Sometimes you can use leaves. In the fall, in the States, I use leaves and dry sticks. We'll go and pick it up on our side, and we'll bring it to the classroom, and we'll do counting with the leaves, with the sticks, with the flowers that we pick from the compound in the school, and we do addition with it. We do science with it, okay? So try your best to answer a question about, there's no way a child can learn just, they say they're good in math and good in science. You can still teach them in English. You can still, because when you do your assessment for the math, you will know what he's strong at. And you take that strong thing and you transfer it to the other subject. And then you can take that subject and teach the child.
Like all my colleagues have said, the parents are not supporting much. So we identify something that maybe we think this child is good at this. And we try developing that skill in the child. The child goes home and there is nothing. No support, no involvement. Sometimes we try explaining to the parents what we are trying to do with the child, the progress we have made. But I think the perceptions and other things are limiting them from participating fully. So it all boils down that if you make the effort, they grow, they come back, and then
Okay. I mean, I feel that even if it's the school or community or even a vocational setting, there's certain things in special education that should not be pushed aside. That is assessments, that is student data. That stuff should not be put aside and say, we're just here for fun. We're here to just expose you to sports. That is not going to help. You have these kids to 25 or 20, whatever age. Are you just going to do that for them, or are you going to really try to gear them to something? If the parents are not doing their part in reinforcing, just don't babysit. I don't believe in babysitting. I've worked in summer programs, I work in schools, I work in virtually with my students, especially COVID. And I realized my parents, they can't teach the child. When I do Zoom with my parents, they tell me, I cannot do it. And I have to tell them, you be my hands. I will tell you how to move to do the teaching, and you do it. So I end up teaching the parents and less on the student, because they were home for almost 6 months and the parents were lost. All right. So I understand the parents here are going to be lost. So it's okay that they don't know, but you are here saying that you are educators, and you are saying that you are here to support these children and to develop them. But don't think that they're just here to wind up time. It's not fair to them that you as a teacher is not taking the initiative to really take the extra step. Special education is extra step. We're not regular education teachers. Whether in community setting, whether in vocational setting, whether in the classroom, or even home studies. As long as you say that I'm going to give them some kind of education, then you have to take that extra step and do your diligence to make sure that they get it right. It saddens my heart every time that I see individual with special education needs, and the parents, they say that they can do nothing. I met a parent with a child in Accra. He said, my child doesn't hold nothing. I can't teach him nothing. And I said, give me your bracelet. And then she gave it to me. And I put the thing in the child's hand. The child held it for about 5 minutes. I said, that is an achievement. You want him to hold pencil and pen and paper. It's not possible. But the child can hold something that eventually can become a pencil. Okay? But it takes you to take that 5 minutes, 10 minutes to teach him how to hold something. Just to hold. So that can be a skill that skill of holding, it will go into something else. You're teaching sports. This child cannot hold ball, okay? Cannot throw a ball. In the classroom, that can be a subject. We turn to hold and let go. Hold, let go. Hold, that is something, that's a skill that you want to go into something else. Maybe they don't know how to kick ball. Then that's a skill that you teach them, how to touch the ball to their feet and how to hit something. That's a skill. So you don't have to always come and say you must learn ABC, 1, 2, 3. You're teaching life skills. And I wish I was able to really get a picture of how you actually see the assessment and how you actually do your activity based on the assessment. I have 7 kids in my class. Every one of them are different. I have kids who are 16 to kids who are 7 years old in my classroom. I have to teach them individually and have assistants that work with them individually. I can't do a group teaching. No way. They would not even sit for me. These students are even sitting. I'm even impressed with that. They won't sit. You will see them going to the door. And my assistants are running after them all over the place. So you have to understand that special education is taking that special step outside regular education. So you're going to have to work hard. the parent you looking for support, you may never get that support. So are you going to stop teaching? No. You're going to keep doing it and keep doing it. So my advice to you today is that assessment. That's my stronghold. You guys don't have IEP here, right? IEP is, you know what it is, individual education plan. So that IEP is where you write details of what the child is capable and not capable of doing, so that child can grow with that document, that little paper. So if you have notes, you can have that note on that child, so that the next teacher that will get the child will say, Mr. Paul was working on this. Was this where he is at? So you can build from there. If you have problem in the assessment, you have problem in activity, that is here to say, okay, what activity do you want to do? What are the strengths of your students? Let's see if this activity is appropriate for you to administer. Because if you give the wrong activity to your student, you'll be frustrated. Are you as a teacher? Because you get nowhere. You're trying to teach something that you have not even introduced in the classroom. And they're just in days. Have you got a student that just stand there and don't do nothing? And you just, okay, he's not doing nothing, let's just go to that other student. It's not fair to that student that's standing there and don't do nothing. He's not doing nothing because he doesn't have the skill. It's not because he's not interested. Okay, motivation is very important for our students. Motivation is very important. I know sometimes teachers, we are tired. We are tired. Every day is a new day for our students. What you teach yesterday, today is not going to happen. You have to teach the whole thing again. Are you ready to keep teaching the thing again and again and again? Yes, because you said you are a special ed teacher. You know, and it's unfortunate that our system is not geared to our students. But you can make your classroom geared to our students. Some of our children, they're just there. They're not engaged. So you talking to them, give them engagement for what they are doing. Okay? So I'm happy that you introduced them to the environment and speaking about the environment, picking up the stone. Oh, this is a small stone. This is a big stone. This is the grass. So this is a leaf. You know, they'll know the difference. So that's how you can do walk in the environment. I'm here for teachers. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to make teachers get it easier, the best way they can get it. Because I know that without you guys being supported in educating, in getting your questions asked, in trying to make your work a little bit easier as a teacher, it's going to be difficult and you're going to be stressful, and the stress will be on that student. They might not talk, but they can feel energy. Okay? If you are in the classroom with the negative energy, trust me, the students can feel that. And you want to be around them with a very positive energy so that they can able to receive what you're saying. Our children are most sensitive kids in the world. So you have to always try your best to bring positivity in their space. Okay? Because some of our students, there are only 2 commands. If you give them 3, 4 commands, you have lost them. So you have to do assessment, say how much information I can give that child per session. So if say, Kofi, clean up, sweep the yard, right? You have make it too broad. Kofi, sweep from here to there. You understand? So you try to, that's your assessment level. So you have to try your best to always give the assessment. Just don't give them general, because you want them to be able to do the task effectively so you can give them more, okay? If you want them to pick up the toys and say, pick up the toys, put it in the basket, what they're going to do is pick it up and put it in the basket. But if you say, pick up the toys, put the cars in this yellow container, put the ball, sometimes our kids can't do that. So if you don't teach them you don't give them that skill to sort things out, how can they pick up a toy and put it away? You have to teach them about sorting. How can you teach sorting? When you do that, then you can say, Kofi, pick up the cards, put it in a yellow container. They know the yellow container. So now colors come in play. Okay? So it's not about just education part, a typical education, but the regular everyday things. Even this classroom right now, you have yellow sunflower, you have green tree leaves here. Do they even recognize the environment they're in? Have you come to them to show them the tree, the flower? You know, things like that. You want them to be aware, not zone out. Not zone out. You know, so I like the way he said that the kids are outside doing the work. Also, you know each one of them their strength. But you as individual caretakers, you can do informal. That means you just writing what you see, what you observe. So when specialists come in, you can say, at this time, this happens. At this time, that happens. Then they can give you their professional advice how to even work around that. But if you don't give them the information, the specialist cannot help you. Okay? My speech therapist cannot help me as a teacher if I don't give them something to work with. My psychologist for the school cannot help me if I don't give them something to work with, because they can't stay with my student all day, all week. They come to like a 1 hour to observe, but that 1 hour they come to my classroom, that child is perfect. Nothing is wrong with the child. And I'm writing all the things the child is doing. I was like, am I making this up? No, write it down so the therapist can actually know what you're dealing with, right? That's the way you're going about it to solve the problem. You cannot solve it just pulling him away or you have to write it down. So, because the good thing is, I heard Sister Pat said, specialists come in here and out. So if you have your data in your hand and you see a specialist come spend the day with you guys, then you say, oh, this is what the situation is. What do you think? Then they can give you their advice right there. Okay, so before I go, I have a gift for the teachers. Hi, so welcome. We are in St. Elizabeth School here in Elmina in the Central Region. It was amazing meeting the teachers and the students, and we had a discussion. As I said, DAT is here to support teachers. I'm here to give teachers the support they need so they can be an effective teacher for our students. Our students cannot function without the teachers being equipped, without them having the right support that they need.
My name is Sister Lisa Oliveri. I am from the United States and I have been volunteering here at St. Elizabeth's for a year. I went back and then I just came back for a few weeks to visit. I was part of the meeting that occurred here today, and I think some of the questions that were able to be answered was very helpful for the teachers. Knowing this is a unique situation, it's not, as I said, it's not a school but a center, and then having some of the examples more appropriate to that was very, very helpful. I think that will give, it's a beginning for the teachers to be able to think about what they can do. Assessment in any area is very important, and so being able to give some examples of how assessment is important in the way that they are working with the children, I think will be very helpful for their future.
My name is Paul Bejo Kobla. Currently, we are working in Padre Pio Rehabilitation Center, St. Elizabeth Special Daycare to be precise. Today, we had a meeting and it was a very good one, I might say. Even though we know some of the things, but it has given us more details into it. And we are most grateful to this particular as a group for coming to us today for this education. It's really, really helpful, and we look forward to contact them and also have more details later on. I study community-based rehabilitation and disability studies in the University of Education. I'm a graduate, and I've been working here for almost a year now. That's 11 months now. If there is any way that the association or the group can help us here in St. Elizabeth, we look forward for that, and we are hopeful that they will come to our aid. Thank you.
I'm educator, and here is Padre Pio Rehabilitation Center. We just had a meeting, the meet and greet, and it was really helpful. In fact, the presentation itself, the knowledge, and she was able to bring out new ideas that is going to help us in the caregiving, and especially with the young lads that I work with, and it's a blessing to have this meeting. In fact, talking about the assessment, talking about the IEP, talking about other beautiful things, other new experience that we can work with, and it's a blessing to be here today, and I've really learned a lot. I think these are things that we should encourage. We should get this time to time in order for it to help us, because most of the times at the university level you are only taught the theory aspect, but the practical is really, really important. And meeting well experienced people like the team that just we spoke to, I think is very important, and we would love to have this experience each and every time.
I'm here to give them comfort to know that special education is not the end. They can actually get more knowledge in supporting our students with disabilities. Thank you.
Please call us on 030-396-1911. Email info@dats.org or visit www.dats.org. DAS. Supporting teachers of students with disabilities.